I never expected to be the kind of man who checked the clock twice just to make sure he was early. But that Tuesday, everything wrapped up faster than usual. The site inspection finished ahead of schedule, the crew didn't need me, and for the first time in months, I thought I'd surprise my wife. Her name is Marin. We've been married 11 years. I imagined walking in, maybe catching her mid-laugh, maybe earning one of those smiles she used to give without thinking. I didn't text. I didn't call. I just drove home, feeling oddly hopeful for someone who hadn't felt that in a while.
When I pulled into the driveway, there were cars I didn't recognize. 3 of them, parked neatly, like they belonged. For a second, I thought I'd mixed up the day. Maybe she'd mentioned something I forgot. That happens when conversations turn one-sided. I sat there longer than I should have, engine idling, trying to remember if tonight had ever come up. It hadn't. I would have remembered that. I always remember the things that mattered to her. I walked in quietly, keys still in my hand. The house smelled different. Candles, wine, that faint mix of perfume and food you only notice when it doesn't belong to you. Voices drifted from the dining room. Laughter, familiar, but not meant for me. I stepped closer, slow enough that no one noticed. That's when I saw it. The table was set for 4 couples. 8 glasses, 8 chairs. Everyone seated, everyone paired, except one seat. Empty. Mine, I realized, didn't exist. Marin was at the head of the table, animated, alive in a way I hadn't seen in years. Beside her sat Rowan, her co-worker's husband, leaning in a little too comfortably. Across from them were 2 other couples I recognized from her social circle. No one looked confused. No one looked surprised that I wasn't there. This wasn't an accident. This was planned. A couple's night, hosted in my house. Without me. I didn't interrupt. I didn't announce myself. I just stood there, watching for a moment longer than was healthy. Marin laughed at something Rowan said, touching his arm lightly, casually, the way people do when it means nothing to them and everything to someone else. That sound did something to me. Not anger. Something quieter. Something heavier. It felt like confirmation. I cleared my throat. The sound cut through the room like broken glass. Heads turned. The laughter stopped. Marin's smile froze, then collapsed into something unreadable. "You're home early," she said. "Not are you okay?" Not hi. Just that. As if I'd broken a rule by existing off schedule. "I am," I replied. My voice surprised me. Steady. Calm. "What's going on?" She hesitated, just long enough to be noticeable. "It's just a small get-together," she said. "Couple's night." I looked around the table again, then back at her. "I see that," I said. Silence settled in. One of the men shifted in his chair. Someone picked up their glass, then put it back down. Marin stood up quickly. "Can we talk in the kitchen?" she asked, already moving. I followed. She lowered her voice. "I didn't think you'd be home," she said. "You've been busy lately." I nodded. "So busy I don't count as part of a couple anymore?" She exhaled sharply. "Don't make this a thing. You wouldn't have enjoyed it anyway." That sentence landed harder than I expected. Not because it was cruel, but because it was honest. She had already decided who I was to her, and it wasn't someone she wanted there. I looked at her, really looked, and realized something important. She wasn't embarrassed. She wasn't sorry. She was inconvenienced. "You didn't tell me," I said. "You didn't invite me." She crossed her arms. I didn't think it mattered. That was the moment. Not the table. Not the laughter. That sentence. That calm dismissal of my place in my own life. I nodded once. "Okay," I said. I walked past her, grabbed my jacket from the hall, and headed for the door. She followed, confused now. "Where are you going?" she asked. I paused with my hand on the knob. "Out," I said, "since it doesn't matter." I didn't slam the door. I didn't look back. I just left. I drove for a while without direction. My phone buzzed once. Then again. I didn't check it. Something had shifted, and I needed to sit with it. It wasn't rage. It was clarity. I realized I had been editing myself for years, shrinking into whatever version of me caused the least friction. And somehow, that version still wasn't enough to earn a chair at the table. Later that night, I went back. The cars were gone. The candles burned low. Marin was in the living room, arms wrapped around herself. "You embarrassed me," she said. I met her eyes. "You erased me," I replied. We didn't argue. There was nothing left to argue about. The truth had already done the work. That night, I slept in the guest room. The house felt different. Quieter. Honest. I didn't know what would happen next, but I knew one thing for certain. I would never again beg for a place in a life that had already made room for everyone but me.